It may seem hard to believe now, but there was a time when John Woo was heralded as the most exciting action filmmaker on the planet. Films like Hard Boiled and The Killer weren't just fun popcorn films, they elevated the genre to new heights. They were the blueprint to Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Michael Bay, and the Wachowskis. My love for those classic early 90s action films came flooding back to me as I played through the Hong Kong Massacre, a brand new shoot-'em-up that plays out like a loving tribute to both John Woo and Hotline Miami. And if you think that sounds like an exciting combination, then I'm here to tell you to be prepared for the most explosive action game of the year. The year is 1992, and the police are desperately trying to piece together all the details on a massacre that happened between June 10th and 13th. You play the man at the center of that massacre, a former detective who is now in custody and detailing what happened hour by blood-soaked hour. The 36 stages allow us to explore those violent days, exposing a plot filled with vengeance and brutal carnage. It may sound flippant to call this John Woo's Hotline Miami, but that's exactly what it is. I mean, it literally starts with birds flying in slow motion. This has all the cliches you could want, including dual-wielding handguns, never reloading, glass flying everywhere, and everybody diving through the air at half speed. It's the kind of game where you'll jump through windows, slide over tables, dive through the air, kill a half dozen bad guys, and then run for cover all in a single fluid move. To call this an exciting game would be an understatement. Part of the reason why all this works so well is because of the liberal use of the slow motion. You can run out of it if you hold the button too long, but the gauge fills up in a hurry and it's basically always ready to be used. This gives our hero a chance to not only see what's going on around him, but also dodge bullets and target multiple enemies without missing a beat. I never got bored of barreling through rooms in slow motion while jumping on tables and killing everybody in dramatic fashion. And the fact that there's glass, debris, and explosions happening all around me just made these bits more exciting. They're both exhilarating and satisfying. It also helps that the stages are nicely varied. We get the usual indoor missions where there are bad guys in every room, as well as a bunch of levels that use the outdoors to great effect. We shoot our way through murky apartments, rooftops above the city, high-priced condos, streets draped in neon, and fancy office buildings. And what makes these stages so much fun to play is that you can tackle them in multiple ways. There's rarely a linear path that you have to follow, so a lot of the fun comes from experimenting with different tactics until you're able to kill all the bad guys without getting shot. Amongst all the carnage is a story that involves you killing some genuinely evil men. Each day has you shooting your way through a bunch of levels in order to track down the man involved, which results in a fun, albeit repetitive, boss fight. It's just like in the movies, where the two bad guys are separated by a wall, racing after each other while shooting. You're constantly trying to catch up, all while hoping to get a clear shot from across the way. It's incredibly exciting the first time around, but loses a bit of its charm after you have to repeat that scenario for several more bosses. I wish they would have tapped into another action movie cliche instead of reusing this one over and over. Now, this would normally be where I would bring up all the negatives that tamper down my excitement a little. But aside from a few repetitive boss fights, I don't really have that much bad to say about the Hong Kong Massacre. If I'm nitpicking, I can point to the objectives always being the same. I mean, there's never a point where the goal is different from just going in and killing everybody in sight. It also might have been nice to have some different secondary objectives. As it is, you'll get extra upgrade stars when you beat the stage in a certain amount of time, go in without using slow motion, or having perfect aim. These are fun challenges, but a little more variety would have been nice. But let's be realistic here, these aren't genuine complaints. We can wish and want about every game, no matter how good it is. What we have in the Hong Kong Massacre is a near-flawless execution on a concept, and one of the most exciting shoot-'em-ups I've played in years. It's a gorgeous-looking game that evokes the very best of John Woo, while gleefully celebrating that brand of chaotic action that he helped pioneer. Best of all, it's an absolute joy to play. There's a smoothness to the action that makes every shootout look like it was taken straight out of a movie. I'm telling you, this is everything that Stranglehold should have been. The Hong Kong Massacre is an absolute treat for John Woo and shoot-'em-up fans alike. This is a stylish action game full of diverse stages, exhilarating shootouts, criminal underworld intrigue, and more slow-motion explosions than you're gonna know what to do with. This is the kind of game where every stage is filled with intense moments you won't believe actually happened, all of which are immediately topped by an even cooler shootout in the next stage. If you're a fan of Hotline Miami, John Woo, Max Payne, or shoot 'em ups in general, then the Hong Kong Massacre is a must-play. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What movie director needs a game based on their style? This is a topic I can talk about for at least an hour, probably 10. We've seen game developers tackle David Lynch before, but if you would go with somebody like Wes Anderson, or early Orson Welles, or Alfonso Cuarón, look, that guy seems to be a lock for winning at least one Oscar this year, so why not a game? Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a bunch of reviews, but I'm completely out of time to tell you about them right now. I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.